I remember watching this film when I was younger, and I don't remember Eddie Murphy having an accent. And in this film, his accent is fucking terrible. What's up, guys? This is Courtney, one half of his brother's Deconstruction here, and I'm bringing you my super late review for A Vampire in Brooklyn. Now that Halloween is starting to get closer and closer, I realized that I should probably start doing some reviews or some discussion videos on some horror-related things. And when I realized that Hulu has this on their streaming service, I was like, okay, I gotta watch this movie again. So, Vampire in Brooklyn is a movie that came out in 1995. Like I said before, I remember watching this when I was a kid, right? There are a couple of things that I didn't notice about the film, that I didn't remember about the film, I should say rather, are hilarious when in hindsight. Like, again, I didn't realize that Eddie Murphy has a terrible accent in this film. It bounces between British and African, but his regular American accent pops out a lot. Which is funny because one of Eddie's most well-known roles is Coming to America, where he played African Prince. So you think he would at least have stuck with the African accent, but it sounds like he's trying to pull off some type of British accent as well, and it just doesn't work. Especially seeing that the vampire lore that they use is that there's an opening monologue from Eddie, and he mentions something about how I forget what phrase that they use representing vampires. Nosferatus, I believe. They migrated toward Egypt or something like that, and into other parts of Africa and the Caribbean, I think. So you'd think he would have stayed with the African accent. But anyway, that's just one of the funny things that I realized. The other thing is, I didn't know Wes Craven directed this film. I didn't know. I didn't realize that this was one of Wes Craven's movies. Reviews were negative, but it's since gained a cult following. Rightfully so, because Vampire in Brooklyn isn't some masterpiece of a film, right? It's corny. It's really, really corny in parts, but it's also a very well put together like vampire film that meshes in with some comedy. Some of the comedy hits really, really good, and there's interesting lore and backstory with what they chose to do with their vampires. Again, that section or that sect of vampires that Eddie Murphy is coming from, they migrated into Africa. He's like the prince, and Angela Bassett, who's in this film, Alan Payne, John Witherspoon, Kadeem Hardison, aka Dwayne Wade from A Different World. Angela Bassett's character Rita, she's half vampire, and Eddie is playing Maximilian. He's looking for a descendant of, his people. Angela Bassett is that descendant. She's half vampire, and it's a very, very simple backstory. But yeah, that's why he's in Brooklyn. He's looking for her so they can kind of like live together and be live this eternal life or whatever like that. So that's pretty interesting because you don't really see a whole lot of that with vampires or vampire films. So it was kind of, I imagine in 1995, this was probably a refreshing take for something horror related. It makes sense that this film has got a cult following, right? Like, it's not a great movie, but it does some cool things, and the comedy, there are parts where I literally laughed out loud because Kadeem Hardison has some very, very hilarious lines in this film. There are even John Witherspoon has some really, really funny lines in the film that made me burst out laughing. Mainly because it reminded me of his Pop's role from the Wayans Brothers, but still, it was still hilarious, and it made me crack up. But overall, I think the film has a very good vibe and atmosphere going for it. Again, it is corny in certain parts, but Eddie and Angela, they have really, really good chemistry, and Eddie is like shooting his shot. He pulling up from the parking lot And I mean, you know, besides one misstep early on in the film, it was looking like it was going to be all net. So, I mean, Eddie was out there just pulling up from deep. And it was actually kind of hilarious, but cool to see because that's just how smooth Max is. And of course, Eddie Murphy, mid-90s, he plays a couple of other characters in this film as well. One of them is an Italian mobster, I think, that's probably will be frowned upon now if this movie came out today. It's very stereotypical. He also plays a preacher, a black preacher. So I mean, this is normal for Eddie in the mid-90s playing multiple characters in the film. But again, overall, the movie is entertaining as hell, and I forgot how entertaining the film is. It has its charm. It's corny in certain parts, like Alan Payne's character, who I couldn't even remember his name, even though my nephew shares a name with him. His character's name is Justice, right? And he plays Rita's partner. He's corny in the movie, and there's like a love triangle thing between Justice, Rita, and Max. But it doesn't seem like there's been long enough time where Justice would have these feelings for Rita. Now, I don't know how long they've been partners, right? But at one point in the film, you know, I guess Rita has been away for a minute. But then again, I'm not really sure because there's a captain or somebody in the police department that asked him, how's your new partner doing? Because her mom just died. Her mom was locked away in like a mental institution where she died at. I get the feeling that, you know, with the phrase, how's your new partner doing? They were just assigned to be each other's partners, right? So the time frame of the movie is only a couple of days because when Max, you know, touches down and he turns Kadeem Hardison into a ghoul, basically a little henchman of his, he says, look, I need to find this woman by the next full moon, blah, blah, blah. And the next full moon is in a couple of nights. So there's at one point in the film where Justice tells Rita, hey, I care about you more than I should, blah, blah, blah. And then even at one point when she leaves and goes home, he pulls up outside and he's like going over what he's gonna say. He's like, I never felt like this. And then he tries to put on this macho man act like, look, woman, you're gonna listen to me. And it was corny as hell. And I just didn't know where it was coming from because I felt like, as far as we know, this has been going on only 2 days. And maybe y'all just got assigned to be each other's partner within the past 2 weeks. You down there falling head over heels in love for this person. Now again, I'm not the authority on how long it takes for you to fall for somebody, but it just seemed a little far-fetched how quickly he started basically professing his love to her. I mean, other than that, it was mostly charming. Stuff with Alan Payne was corny. There are some other cool stuff between Angela and Eddie. And overall, I mean, the basis of the film is built around their relationship, right? And Angela's character, you know, having these dreams and painting them, and, you know, they're essentially coming to fruition. Her mom was basically a voodoo doctor or into voodoo and mystical stuff. And so it's a very entertaining movie, and I would say go check it out. It's on Hulu. It's not like you have to go out to the movie theater or you have to go rent it or anything like that. It's on Hulu, and Bruce told me it's still on Amazon Prime because I remember them having it on Amazon around last Halloween, but I thought they took it off. But he said, no, I looked and they still have it up there. So you have Hulu and Amazon that both have this film. I say give it a go. It's an entertaining film, and you will not be disappointed. Just know that Eddie has a terrible accent, a really, really bad accent. And even Angela herself, she's really good in the film. I think she portrays being troubled over her mom's death and not really, because she didn't really know her mom that well, at least from what she says. She plays good on, she portrays playing that troubled character, like I said, and, really wondering where she fits in the world and what, her mom's dealings in, like, the mystical aspects of, I don't know if it was voodoo, but her mom was into all that type of practice. So she tries to figure out, hey, does any of that, have anything to do with the weird dreams I've been having, all that type of stuff. So I think she does a pretty good job in the role. So yeah, I say go check it out and be on the lookout for a few other videos that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be watching Stephen King's Sleepwalkers. I was going to watch it last night right after I watched A Vampire in Brooklyn, but I was kind of tired and I just knew I probably wasn't going to pay attention all that much, and I definitely didn't want to fall asleep on it. But keep on the lookout for Stephen King's Sleepwalkers, as well as I'm going to actually do like a 1-episode review from Goosebumps and Beyond Belief Fact or Fiction. Those are 2 shows that I grew up watching. So I figured, hey, as Halloween gets closer, I'll start dropping videos again and everything like that. So be on the lookout for those videos. Check out the other videos on the channel as well. Bruce has been releasing some streaming videos of him playing some old school Power Rangers games. So check those out as well, guys. As always, I appreciate all the support, whether it's 1 view or 100. Keep on giving the support and everything like that. And I'll see you guys later.